What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the Goldgell Getaways travel podcast. It has been a really long time. I think like almost 2 years. Since we've kind of stopped, and I've been wanting to get this rebooted, but been finding the right time to do so with a little bit of extra time to be able to do it and much less stressful. Not going live, I think, just makes things a lot easier for me. But yeah, so I am your host, Josh. If you don't know who I am, that's who I am. And this week I am joined with Ryan, who has also been here before.
Hey y'all, glad to be back.
Yeah,
It's been a minute.
it has been a minute. It has been a minute. But I'm glad that we're getting back into doing this. Each week we're gonna try and have a different guest on with me to just talk about different things for Goldgell Getaways. So that is going to be an agent, more than likely, and who will have the opportunity to really discuss something that they find important or that they enjoy. So I know one agent was talking about planning a trip for the Olympics, which I thought would be a really cool topic to discuss. I know nothing about that. So, you know, I'll be,
There's a lot of cool trips out there that our agents are
oh,
planning. And
oh my
it's,
gosh.
2 years ago we were all about Disney. We still are all about Disney. But what our agents are doing right now is some absolutely incredible work, from group cruises to Olympic trips, European vacations, you name it, our agents are doing it.
Yeah. It's growing, and it's really great that we have been expanding more and more outside of Disney. Not that we want to get away from that. We love Disney. Disney's the bread and butter around here. We're an authorized Disney vacation planner, which means that we know what we're talking about when it comes to Disney. But it's good to get experience and get outside and just see some other stuff because there's a lot out there. So, with that, I will lead this into the whole thing that we used to say, which is whether you have big kids, small kids, or no kids at all. Here at Go Getaways, we've got somebody who can help you plan your next destination vacation. Head on over to www.goldgellgetaways.com to start planning today. And if you're interested in joining our travel agency as a travel professional specializing in Disney vacations or cruises, you can also head on over to our website and join today as well. There should be a little button on the homepage there somewhere, I think in actually a couple places. So, yeah.
Yeah, and what better time than now? And this is a shameless plug for myself, because myself and my wife are the education directors here at Goldgell Getaways. And so we do a lot of interaction with our new agents, and there's a
Mhm.
lot of fresh and exciting faces, and a lot of people that we say are couch to island, because we're big survivor people too. So
Oh,
that's
oh,
uh that's our reference, is getting off the couch and going and actually doing it. There's a lot of travel planners who are planning trips for people and not getting
mhm.
paid for it. So what's
Yeah.
better than planning a vacation and getting paid?
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And we also supply basically all the training too. So, which is really great. You don't have to just go out there and figure out Disney planning or Royal Caribbean planning or something else. There's all kinds of training that is available to you. Um, it's not going to cost you anything extra. So, which is really nice. But cool. Um, 1 second. I'm going to turn my fan off. I don't know. Can you hear it?
Hold on. No, that's my HVAC that I'm hearing.
Okay. Maybe I'll leave it on. So it just helps circulate the air a little bit. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't I so you're just your voice. It's good.
okay, perfect. Awesome. Okay, cool. So then let's move into news and rumor reports here. So we're going to keep these, I think, mostly positive, try to avoid a lot of like crazy comparisons here between two parks that sit only a few miles apart from each other in Florida. But there's a lot of really great things that are going on in Orlando right now with theme parks. A lot of speculation and rumors around Walt Disney World and what all of this like billions of dollars is going to be going into for the theme park. So uh, I think one thing that I found really surprising this week that I read is that Flower and Garden Festival is starting on February 28th and running till May 27th. That is just mind blowing that it's starting in February. Even if it's at the end, it's still February.
It's spring training. Spring training's happening so in February. So as long as baseball's around, then we're good to go with spring.
Man, I Taylor and I were talking about this, that it's just getting to that point. They're going to keep inching it every year, a little bit closer, little earlier of a start, and a little bit of a later end. You know, um,
Diet Epcot just keeps on shrinking.
I know, right? Oh, whew.
But we are Nikki and I are excited because we've been planning. So we started off with a 4-day trip coming up in March, specifically to go to Flower and Garden and a late night event. And
Mhm.
that has changed from a Monday to Thursday to a Saturday to Saturday trip. So we have been diving into the menus. We have been, reading all the reviews from last year, and we're super excited this year because we're going the first weekend. So
Oh boy.
you don't know what's good and what's bad. So we have to go and figure out, what was good last year. What do we have to eat? We've been I actually wrote down in my notes for this podcast my 3 things that I'm looking forward to the most at Flower and Garden. So
Okay. All right.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah, it is hands down probably my favorite festival every year that Disney has. I mean, Food and Wine is really good, but I just love spring, love all the flowers. It's all the color there. And then yeah, plus I mean the food's always great too. So
And the topiaries are so unique.
oh
It's
my gosh, yeah.
it's
And
what sets it apart from Flower and Garden.
they've gotten so advanced over the last few years too. I
Yeah.
mean, they used to just be like a topiary. They didn't have faces or, you know, different unique colors to them. They were literally just cut topiaries that you would see kind of the outline. You're like, oh, that must be Simba, and that's Mickey Mouse, right? And now it's like they've got, faces and everything else. It's crazy. So much detail. It's really
It's
cool.
like the Tournament of Roses parade. Everything is made out of
Yeah.
flowers.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's going to be 20 outdoor kitchens this year and over 60 new items. If you have looked at those menu items, do you know which ones are new? Have you marked anything that is like completely totally fresh?
The orange blossom saffron cake at
Okay.
Tangerine Cafe
Mm. Wow.
is yeah.
Okay.
No, we have a love relationship with Tangerine Cafe because we loved it in its former quick service self, and we love it now as a booth for Flower and Garden. So everything that they do in that booth is absolutely great. And then we also have the fried cinnamon roll bites at Brunch Cop. So I don't think the last
Okay.
time that we visited Flower and Garden, they had a brunch cot station, but that is one of our
Yeah. Huh.
yeah, the we went last time we went to Flower and Garden was in 2021. So
Well, yeah, I think well the other thing too for me is that it's always I always forget like because sometimes I don't know if they're still doing it this year. I have not looked at the menus or anything. So you are far more knowledgeable at this point moment than I am. But are we still doing late release? Because I guess we're
yes.
not okay, so there's going to be stuff that they're going
So
to release later instead of right at
yes,
the
yes
beginning.
and no. There is one booth that and I'm searching Disney Parks blog right now with the foodie guide for Flower and Garden. There's one booth that has 3 different releases depending on the time of spring that they're in. So they're doing seasonal
Okay.
ingredients, which is very, very cool. And it's pulling up right now.
And actually I guess maybe I am wrong in the fact that we're not extending Flower and Garden Festival. Um I think the last couple of years it's gone a little bit later than May. This year it's going to end May 27th. So we will get a little bit of a break in between Flower and Garden Festival and the start of Food and Wine Festival. Unless they just throw a wrench into that and they're like, Summer Festival, you know?
which is very possible.
Right?
But I can't imagine with that capacity that they have over at Epcot that they would
Yeah,
even imagine having a festival at that time.
right.
But I found the release windows. So we have the Farmer's Feast. So we have an early bloom menu from February 28th to March 30th, a springtime menu March 31st to April 27th, and a summer solstice menu from April 28th to May 27th.
Wow.
So playing with the seasons there.
Okay. I like it. A little
Yeah,
bit of variety.
it's and then everything else is as is.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Nice. Yeah, so Flower and Garden Festival, great time of the year to come. The weather is typically pretty nice, especially coming into to March. You can still have a little bit of sweatshirt weather, but you can also have those hotter days. So it tends to be, I think, a nice mix for people who want to try to avoid the heat. But yeah, you want to add anything from Disney World? Anything you saw, heard?
Tiana's Bayou Adventure opening. I was
All
listening
right.
to another podcast that is
Yeah.
very reputable that I can't mention on this podcast, but they were saying that it's opening summer 2024, and summer is really anywhere from in Disney's mind Memorial Day weekend all the way
Yep.
through September. So
Yep. Yep.
they're talking about that timeline, and then it's a strong possibility that it can open around June or July.
Okay. Yeah.
But that is a
That'll be
rumor.
cool. That'll be
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely.
I'm excited to see that. That'll be cool. A nice little update to that whole area, which is needed. So,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
cool.
And yesterday, breaking news, we have a new quick service at Hollywood Studios
Oh, I
for
didn't see
frozen
this.
cokes. Yeah, hydraulics. In it's over by man, what's the Muppets area called?
Oh, yes. I know. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember, but okay. Yeah, so it'll be back over there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's right in
Nice.
front of the Miss Piggy statue.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right. All
the
right.
little
Nice.
things.
The little things. That's what matters. That's what
Exactly.
matters. All right. Well, moving on to Disneyland. They have just made some announcements over there of something that we've never gotten to experience. We were going to, and then the world happened, and unfortunately they canceled the events. So, and this is one of their After Dark series extra ticketed events, which is the Disneyland After Dark Star Wars Night. So this is going to be running April 16th, 18th, the 23rd, the 25th, the 30th, May 2nd, 7th, 9th of this year. And I believe the tickets actually just went on sale today. And I would not be surprised if they sold out today. I mean, Star Wars is just mind blowingly huge. So you're going to be able to dine on over 20 new yummy treats available only during the Star Wars nights. They're going to have a lightsaber instructional thing, which this blows my mind, Ryan. I don't know how much you've seen of this, but apparently you can bring your own lightsaber. And it doesn't matter how old you are, right? Whether you're young or young at heart, but you can go and have a lightsaber instructional like thing where they like show you how to like use your lightsaber and do stuff. Um,
That's that's awesome. As long as it's not the Jedi Academy and there's no stormtroopers coming, then we're good to go.
I mean, it sounds almost like that what we had here in Disney World. But that was only ever for kids. Adults were always so upset that they couldn't go up on stage, and but yeah, so that
Yeah.
sounds really cool. And then they have
Or
the
are they
go
bringing
no, go
that
ahead.
technology from the Halcyon?
Like the special lightsaber, or oh no, oh you mean
The
the
lightsaber training. The
you know what, they didn't specify. I don't think they really specified what it was going to be. It would be cool if that was brought there. But since you can bring your own lightsaber, I'm trying to remember if maybe there was something specific about those ones that they had at the hotel, because we did get an opportunity to do that while we were over there. So I can't remember that. I mean, it's been a long time, but it's possible. It's very possible. So I mean, who knows? It would be a cool extra thing that is coming to. Sorry, my phone was just ringing there. It could be a really cool special thing that's coming, but I mean, just for this, I'm gonna say probably not. It'll probably
right.
just be with like a leader, and they're gonna just do different things, and so. But there is also the Fleet of Fandom Cavalcade, which means that you can also dress up as your favorite Star Wars character, whether it's a stormtrooper or a Jedi or one of the other bad guys, and you can actually join in this cavalcade that they're going to do through the park. So sounds really cool. And then they're also going to finish with a giant, enormous, apparently, group photo. Um, I think out in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle. So, ooh, I wish I could go. That this would be a cool event to go to. Taylor would really like it because die hard into Star Wars. But
They these Disneyland After Dark events are spectacular too. They pull out all the stops. Yeah, I mean, uh, Walt Disney World. I consider myself an East Coaster, so I'm a Walt Disney World person. But I'm always so jealous of these after hours events that happen over on the West Coast because they are
yep,
just they are they're unlimited to what they can do.
yeah, yeah, they are. And it's so I get so jealous because we do get some we do have after hours events here in Walt Disney World. Because I'm also an East Coaster, but man, we just don't get quite the same level as those ones over at Disneyland. I
It's
mean,
not
they
the
go
same
all out,
treatment.
all
Yeah.
out. So yeah. Speaking of those after hour, I mean, this is a little bit of a side note here, but Disneyland, they just announced a new Run Disney event, which is I think it has to do with Oogie Boogie. I missed the signups for that, I think, as well. So that's disappointing, but that's another one that I would want to go do because it's so well themed over there with all the stuff. But yeah.
And they plan all of them around the same time, right? So like one leads into another,
I
right? So like
think
the
s-
Walt Disney World
I
half leads
think
into
yeah,
the Disneyland
yeah,
marathon.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. So I think that one is in October, and it will basically run like Disneyland Oogie Boogie thing. They'll then run right into the uh Wine and Dine half marathon, which is like usually that first weekend of November, typically. So I don't know. There's a bunch of really great things that are coming to the parks. And I think none more so at the moment as we've been getting so much details about it, or so many details about it, is Universal here in Orlando with Epic Universe, this huge third park with just amazing things that are coming. Have you guys done Universal at all?
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
back in the
Okay.
day. It's not
Okay.
so I have motion sickness, so it's not something that I uh do every time we go down, but we've
I
done it.
got you. Yeah, yeah, I got you. It is I think there's one ride over there that gave me motion sickness once, and that was The Simpsons. I've never gotten motion sickness in my life. And we got on that ride and we got off and I was like, I think I just got sick like from this attraction. So
Yeah.
I can see that. It definitely is a little bit more intense than Disney as far as their attractions go with some things, but man, these new interactive lands, they've really stepped it up to try to compete or to not compete is the question with Disney and their themed lands. But I think at the end of the day, it's a great positive for all of us who are the guests. So,
Yeah, and
oh,
they are at the top of the roller coaster world too, with
oh
those
man,
those new dual launch coasters between
yep,
that and Velocicoaster, and then
yep,
the Donkey Kong coaster that's going to be in Nintendo World where it goes. It's like a track under it, but there's a fake track that looks like you're riding on, so it's going to jump the track.
yeah,
It's absolutely wild the things that they're doing. I mean, we talk about Disney being innovative and like roller coasters like Guardians of the Galaxy, and it just pushes the bar further for Universal to get up there too.
absolutely. I see a lot of split stays coming in the future. Whether that's half of the family wants the thrills, the hardcore thrills, and they're going to go for the Universal. The other half, they want that Disney magic. Um, they're going to stay there. But I see it happening. I mean, there's just so much cool stuff that's being
Yeah.
built around here. So, and I don't know, Fifth Gate. I'm telling you, Disney's got to make an announcement here soon that there's got to be one coming.
There's so my theory, they're just gonna expand on the four parks that they have. I can't see a fifth gate, but I can see there is so much land at Disney World that it's like beyond the World Showcase, beyond the Magic Kingdom, beyond
Sure.
Hollywood Studios. There's just so much land back there that you can create whole lands
Yeah.
out of if you really wanted to.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think you are spot on with that, especially over at Animal Kingdom. We could definitely see uh what is it, the rumors of like Zootopia potentially coming to fill Dino
Yep.
Land. And Dinosaur, may eventually go away, which is kind of sad. I love Dinosaur. But it's you're right. They absolutely probably will be just expanding their theme parks, not building a fifth gate, but I'm not gonna hold my breath, but I'm gonna come close. I'm gonna come close.
Yeah.
So
I
we'll
don't
see.
blame you. I mean, there's a lot of valid reasons for it. I'm also uh I also study not don't study economics, but I understand the business of Disney,
Yeah.
and the theme park capacity versus the cost of a new park versus the expansion cost and capacity outweighs building a fifth park that you don't
Right.
know is gonna, you've got people already in those parks as a captive audience. Why not give them more
Right.
instead of building a
Yeah.
completely new thing?
Sure. Sure. We will have to wait and see. Wait and
Yeah,
see. When is the next D23 event? So this was it
it's
like
this year.
September or something?
August? Is
August
that?
probably. Yeah, out in
Yeah, over in
Disneyland.
LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll probably get some big updates, hopefully, from that if rumors don't get leaked beforehand, which sometimes they do. So,
Um,
yo, go ahead.
yeah, no, I would on the podcast that I won't name that has a lot of Disney insiders. They were talking about potentially bringing in the what is it? The Paris Main Street Electrical Drone Parade over to the Magic Kingdom, and what they would because apparently, and I've heard this from multiple sources, is that Disney is combating the arrival of Epic Universe with entertainment options.
Okay.
Because they can plug those in while they're building out the expansions, right?
Sure.
So bringing over things like the drone show, more parades, new animatronics that go into the parades, just all of that stuff. I mean, I'm not
Right.
sure if you've seen all the stuff that's happening over in Frozen World in Hong Kong, but
Yes.
those animatronics that are
Wow.
out,
Yes.
out and about are incredible.
Yeah. I mean, it absolutely makes sense. So, I don't. I just want a fifth gate.
Yeah.
I want the villains park, man. That's what I want. I want that villains
Something
park.
new, right?
Oh, so yeah, I don't know. Anyways, do you have anything else to add for news, rumors, different things? Sometimes we'll talk about some cruise stuff. Obviously, Royal Caribbean's Icon of the Seas just launched, and Utopia is just around the corner.
Do you all
So
have a trip on the Icon yet? We've been watching a lot of vlogs on the Icon, and it's
we
incredible.
don't yet. Yeah, it looks like an amazing ship. Pam and her daughter were just on there. It was only for like I think like 2 nights or something like that. So super short, but they had a really fantastic time. They said it was a great ship. So I can't wrap my mind around how these ships continue to just get larger and larger and larger. The physics behind that is just blows my mind. So it's crazy. But
Yeah. But it's, they're building an entertainment, and it's Royal is up there. So if
yeah,
as travel planners, if you can go on a Royal cruise, should absolutely do it.
absolutely. I agree. I agree. So okay, cool. Well, that will conclude our little news and rumor stuff for this week. And we're going to get into the topic of the week. And I really try to leave this up to our guests and put a lot of weight on their shoulders to come up with something that they want to talk about that they're passionate about. And so, Ryan, take it away, man.
Yeah,
What are we
so
going to talk about?
we're going to talk about Disney and Disney first and how that leads us to where we are today,
Yeah,
and being travel planners. And um, something that we tell everybody is that if you go to Disney, you got to plan. You got to put in the work ahead of time. And if you don't want to do that, that's what we're for. That's
right.
what we are here for as travel planners, and we will do it for you whether you want to or not. So, I thought that we could share a little bit about our first times at Disney as children and then as adults.
Sure.
So I can start. The first time that I went to Walt Disney World, my dad had a conference in Tampa, and so we took the whole family down, and we rented a car one day and drove up to the Magic Kingdom in April of 2001. So this is pre 9/11 Magic Kingdom, and I remember getting to the park and running to get paper fast passes. Um, and it's just one of those core memory days where it's
Yeah.
uh, just, I can remember riding Space Mountain for the first time. I can remember riding Big Thunder. I can remember eating at Cosmic Rays and just, all those great memories. They come back, and then leaving after. I'm pretty sure that we stuck around for the fireworks show, which would have been Wishes at that point. And then I think I fell asleep in the car on the way home because I was 11. So, it
I
was a
bet you
great
probably
memory.
beat after that. I mean, like
Yeah,
that would be a
yeah.
long day.
I was the bat. So this was back in the day that I was in Boy Scouts too. So we had uh the little radios, the little hand radios to communicate because cell phones
Yeah,
weren't really a thing. So we needed
right.
the hand radios to communicate around the park. And I had the backpack, and yeah, I the tickets are somewhere around here for me. I've got my hat with my name on it next to me. So
Oh, that's cool. That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah. What about you? How was your first time at Disney as
Yeah,
a child?
my first time at Disney as a child was when I was a child of 18 years old. Um, and I went with Taylor's family for the first time. They actually took me down there with them, and we've told this story before, and Taylor loves to like get on my case about it, but I really didn't have a lot of excitement to go to Disney World because, um, as I mentioned, I was 18 years old. I was in college, my first semester, and a lot of people were kind of like, "Why are you going to Disney? Like, it's just for kids," and all this stuff. So I didn't really get my hopes up as to like it was going to be a really great vacation or something like that. I knew that they had some like roller coasters and things, and um, but I just didn't get really excited because I didn't want to have a lot of disappointment if it didn't go really well. And the first park that we went into was Animal Kingdom. We ate at the Tusker House, and it was the first time that I've gone on vacation with not just Taylor's parents and her sister, but with like their extended family. So her aunt and uncle, their kids, her grandma. I'm trying to think if there might have been, I think her great grandma was there, and it might have been somebody else that was there too. And we go to get a picture with Donald because that's like Tusker House. Before you go in, usually they have you like do a big photo with Donald, and they made Taylor's aunts made me hold Taylor's nephew, who was like at the time maybe I don't know, like 3 or 4 years old. So it was like I already felt a little awkward because like I'm in a big family photo, like holding a kid, it's not mine. I don't know, it was weird, but you know, we got on uh Kilimanjaro Safari and we're doing the ride and they're like doing the overhead talking stuff. And this was kind of before the more of the updates. And we come down over the bridge that I don't think worked, unfortunately, because it would have been really great if it did work on my first ride. But I see all of those elephant tusks in the clay, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is like so crazy cool. Like these elephants that are here at the park, they like wander over onto the track where we're driving and they put their tusks in the soil and they mark it all up like that. And we're going and I'm just like so just like overwhelmed, and of course, everybody, it's not real, right? Like they made those test marks there, but I
Yeah.
totally like bit the bait on it. And I think from that point on, I was just like overwhelmed and like super excited, and I just really loved all of the magic that comes with Disney. It is all about putting on a really great show and immersing you into the environment in which they want you to be immersed in. So and of course, like my background is biology and wildlife, so it was a great place for me to start anyways. But yeah, it was awesome. After that we went to, I think, like Magic Kingdom later on in the week or something like that, or maybe the next day, and we did a Christmas party that was just like mind blowing. I mean, it was just like, it was awesome. So Taylor always likes to be like, well, you weren't excited, but I wasn't. I was 18, so
Yeah.
you know. But yeah,
You
it was
didn't know
great.
any better.
I didn't. I didn't. No, I was foolish.
And I think that's what a lot of people don't realize is that it's not just a place for kids
Right.
and a place for families, it's a place for everybody. And that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Walt's original vision of it. But it's that magic, truly magic of believing that you are someplace else or that something
Right.
is happening, that they put the effort into it, and that's what really hooks people.
Yeah.
Um, so you get hooked on that, and then you start wanting more and more and more, and that's where Nikki and I kind of became so invested in this product and what we're doing now. Um, so back in 2016, Nikki and I graduated college, and she had a one of our friends had a timeshare, like one of those little timeshare presentations, come down for
Yeah.
$200 for 3 nights at a hotel in Orlando. And so they all went down, they sat through the timeshare presentation, and then they went to Disney in January of 2016. And so, of course, after the timeshare presentation, they're like, oh, do you and your boyfriend, you and your fiance, husband, whatever it is, they offer the discounted rate for you all to come down to check out the resort, sit through the presentation, do all things Orlando. So we were like, this is excellent. Um, looking back on it, Disney Resort would have been the exact same price, but we didn't know any better at
Right.
that time.
Right.
So we we went down in September of 2016, and the first day was Magic Kingdom. And so we had our matching shirts. Of course, because I made us wear matching shirts. I had the blue shirt with the black Mickey, and then she had a pink shirt with the black Minnie on it, and it was just a long day. And I had done my research, scrolling Reddit, reading, um, just blogs and blogs and blogs and reputable sources, and all of the things Disney. And I thought that I knew what I was doing. And we ran around and we were absolutely exhausted. And then the next day, we sat through the timeshare presentation. Nikki still brings this up because I don't like to be rude to people in sales because I've been in sales before. So I had a really
Yeah.
hard time trying to figure out how to tell this timeshare salesman, no, we can't afford this, and we also have
Right.
to get to Epcot at this time. So we got to Epcot a little bit late, and I just remember I think that we took, like, I kid you not, 4 trips around World Showcase that day
Oh wow.
because we just didn't know any better, and we were trying to
Yeah.
find everything. And so um we went at like 10 a.m. and we were there until the fireworks. And then we Ubered back to the resort. But that's a very long day.
Yeah.
That we
Especially
were
at
not
Epcot, walking around multiple times like that. Yeah.
in September, we were not prepared for it. So, um, we learned that if we need to do this, we need to become better planners. And so, um, the were we engaged at that point? I'm pretty sure we were engaged at that point. So we decided that after that, we decided that we wanted to take our honeymoon to Walt Disney World.
Okay.
So a year and a half later, we went on our honeymoon in September of 2018. And at that point, we had it mastered. We had it down to a science. We used a travel planner. At that time, we were looking into it on our own, and then Goldgell Getaways wasn't around at that point. So we couldn't
Yeah.
use them, but we used the travel planner. And so, we did shop around, but we finally found one that was able to book us our the free dining promo at that time.
Mm.
Um, so we stayed at the yacht club. Um, and I was just talking to somebody about this the other day. We had a room with a king bed. And if you get off of the dock from the friendship boats and look at Yacht Club, we can still point out our room because it looks out over Stormalong Bay, which
Oh, that's
was
cool.
absolutely incredible. Yeah, so we can always point out the room that we honeymooned in. But with everything that we had learned previously, we planned rest days, we planned um all of our fast passes way back when on a color-coded spreadsheet.
Oh yeah.
Um we planned our dining, color-coded dining, depending on
Which was
quick
at
s-
like 120 days, right? Used to be 120 days was when dining reservations opened up.
yeah, yeah, exactly. But on the color spreadsheet, We had our dining plan dining. So whether it was a dining plan, table service, quick service, dining plan snack, out of pocket, table service, out of pocket, quick service, out of pocket
Yep.
snack. We had all the colors. And then they, after the shutdown, everything kind of changed. But we were hyper planned, and that's when we started watching you all.
Okay.
We got into Disney and watching vlogs and everything like that. We started watching you and Taylor, and then we joined your group. And um, with I love geeking out about planning and everything like that. So I had posted on your Facebook group at the time, how does this itinerary look? Does anybody else obsess over colors and XLs and everything like that? And then Pam commented on it, and then she reached out to me and said, "This is absolutely wild. Do you want to be a travel planner?"
Yeah.
And this was in our infancy.
Yeah.
So there were, there were probably 12 travel planners with the agency at that time.
Yeah.
And back in this was in probably like December or January of 2019.
Yeah. Yeah. Still
So
small.
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that's where we are today. And Nikki and I, we obsess over planning and making sure that we are up to date. And um we find joy in research and uh planning quotes for clients and planning our own trips.
Ryan, I gotta ask, is
Yeah.
color coordinated t-shirts a requirement on a family vacation at least one time?
The first one.
The first
Yes.
one? Okay.
Yeah,
We
we
well, it's like, if you've never been to Disney, which I'm sure if you're listening to this you probably have, but it's you will inevitably end up seeing at least a handful or a dozen different families all wearing the same shirts. And I always just think that's it's kind of funny. I'm not making fun of anybody. We did it one time as well. I think it was the second, I want to say it was the second time I may have went with Taylor's family to Walt Disney World. We all got red shirts that we had them custom made at like a local, like shirt shop or something. Uh, and it was like, I think it said like SPF because that was like the initials, the first letter of everybody's last names. It was like Spencer, Pence, and Fleming. So it came out like SPF. And I think there was like 15 of us or 16 or something like that. So we put like SPF 15 or 16 and then had like some, Disney-esque logo on the back. And it was fun, but I was like, when can I take this shirt off?
yeah,
Man, I gotta take this shirt off. Oh,
I I felt so silly walking out of the hotel that day in, their generic shirts I get off of Etsy at the time. And then on our Epcot day, we had Simba and Nala shirts, but they were like cool. They weren't like
yeah.
the kind that you get at Target. They were like cool Simba and Nala shirts that were
Yeah.
like
I mean,
bespoke and
I think like as a couple, it's okay. You want to match or like wear something
yeah.
similar, throughout the trip, no big deal, whatever. I mean, when Taylor and I got married and we honeymooned down in Disney, I mean, like we did that, we wore matching shirts and similar shirts or whatnot. But when you're like you're walking around with like 15 other people, you're just like, you know, things happen. You're like, I don't want to be associated with what's going on,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and
but
then, on the other level of that, I come from a youth programming background in child
mhm.
safety, and putting a young child's name on a shirt is just it's
Oh,
it's
right.
baffling to me because
Yes.
like all the stranger danger stuff and having
Yep.
access to that kind of information is just it's
Yep.
one thing to have Smith Family Vacation. It's another to have your name
Right.
on it. Like why
Right.
do you want people to know your name?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. I
just
know but yeah.
yeah. So if you're out there listening, don't do that. Just put your last name
Right.
on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um
Yeah. Or no
but
name,
we
but yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
or just family vacation. But nowadays we are much more not so much into Disney bounding, but subtle Disney. Like
Okay.
things that aren't sold at the Disney store, like
Sure.
I've got a Madame Leota's Psychic Shop shirt that I love that's Haunted Mansion themed. and like you have to be a nerd to understand it
Right.
and look at it. So
Yeah.
that's much more where we're at, unless it's like Big Al, and then I'm all over Big Al.
Okay.
I
Nice.
am I am big into country bears, and I'm excited about the change.
Yeah, that's something else that we didn't really touch on, but yeah, that's another big change coming to that area of the park in Magic Kingdom uh is the bears. So was there like, do you think, was there something like I think that really like stood out to you that you kind of learned from as or becoming a travel planner, especially with Disney, going on the trip so often, or like seeing something else that happened with somebody? Um, I feel like sometimes because I think the quintessential thing is, and you did already hit on this a little bit, but like people don't really have enough knowledge of Disney when they're coming to the parks. There have been multiple times where we've been on the monorail or on the bus, and this was back before FastPass went electronic, went full digital, where people just had no idea about even needing to go get a paper fast pass or that you could still get a paper fast pass while they were in the transition, you know. And inevitably those people come back and they just say that like they had like the worst time because they try to go sit down for a restaurant and they couldn't because there were no reservations available, or they weren't able to ride half the attractions because you know they didn't know that you had to use, now it's Genie Plus. So was there something, obviously you really enjoy the planning aspect of it, but was there something that like really kind of like pushed you over the edge that you learned from and that really made you want to dive even further into becoming a planner? Or
It was, like I mentioned, that day that we had at Epcot was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back for us. We didn't have a blowout fight, but we were just absolutely plain exhausted on that day. So we said we need to plan our vacations better. And I have, I'm a millennial with ADHD, so I get hyper fixated on things. So
yeah.
um, for our next trip, it was really okay, so how can I make it so that we are spending our time the most efficiently as possible? And at the time, we were listening to another podcast that was breaking down, the time that you spend in line versus the money that you pay to be at the resort versus the money that you pay to be in the theme parks, and what is worth your time at Walt
Right.
Disney World. And the best answer to that is planning and making sure that
Sure.
you understand what's happening, because if you rope drop and you hit all the big rides ahead of time, you're saving money.
Right.
Your time is money in line, and then once you've hit all the big rides, then you can start whittling away at the small rides, and not necessarily running all over the park, but having a plan to start in the back and move your way forward, right?
Right.
So we learned those things, and we did a ton of research, and we did just a ton of listening to podcasts and blogs and everything like that. And I don't want to say that I'm an expert on Disney vacations, but we're pretty close at
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
point in,
Yeah.
in being a travel planner. And um especially in today's Disney economy with individual lightning lanes and Genie Plus dining plan coming back. Nikki and
Mhm.
I are we're just two adults right now. So for us, with two adults, buying a individual lightning lane for Rise of Resistance is an absolutely no-brainer.
Right.
$50 to save, we'll say 190 minutes is
Right.
well worth our time. In what you're paying for it. Purchasing an individual lightning lane for Flight of Passage, well worth the $30 that we would spend on that, to save 120 minutes.
Sure.
The only thing, I mean, this is where my hot take comes in, but I wouldn't get an individual lightning lane or a um, virtual boarding pass for Tron. We've done it
Okay.
once, and that was
Yeah.
enough.
Right.
Talking about the economy of Disney, the ride length does not justify the wait time.
Sure.
for the
Absolutely. I can
ride.
agree with that. Absolutely. Yeah.
So that's kind of we did it on our last trip because it was new, but we on this upcoming trip, we even have an after hours booked, and we're just skipping over Tron because we don't think that the half hour or 20 minutes that we might wait for Tron is
Yeah.
worth biting into that time, especially when we have another firework show
Right.
to watch during that after hours event. So it's all, and that's what we talk to our clients about is where are you spending your time? How can you be most efficient? What is worth it? What is not worth it? General rule for us is Genie Plus is worth it at Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios, and depending on your day and your plans, Animal Kingdom and Epcot are optional.
Yeah.
But we've done the research on this. We broke it down. Last week we were thinking about adding the dining plan to our vacation, and I sat down and I mapped out every single meal that we would purchase based off of, my eating preferences and
Right.
Nicole's eating preferences. And it just the dining plan didn't add up for us. So
Yeah.
that kind of replaces the color-coded spreadsheets for us at this
Right.
point.
Right. Yeah. I think it's there's so much value that people often look over, and I always love using my own dad as a prime example of this. Um, and kind of thinking that like, oh, I can just do it and it's gonna be fine. We're gonna have a great time. The first trip that he did to Disney World, I was not part of. I was not consulted until I want to say maybe like about 3 or might have been a month before they were going to go. He sent me a text and he said, we're thinking about going to Disney. Well, we are going to Disney. It's already been booked. Tickets are bought, whatnot. And we're going to go over Christmas because, it's Christmas time. It's going to be great, and there shouldn't be anybody there, so we should be able to just do whatever we want. All of these things. And I had to throw up this huge red flag and be like, that's a huge mistake for your very first time with the idea. It's not a big mistake for your first time, but it's a mistake in thinking that there's nobody here. I'm going to be able to walk around and do whatever I want. Like, I think that that is where, when you're coming into a situation that you really don't know a lot about, certainly reach out um, to somebody like Ryan or, one of our other agents about coming to Disney because Christmas time is like literally one of the busiest times of the year. There,
It's Super Bowl Sunday on top of that. Like
yeah, yeah.
everybody's gonna be at home watching the Super Bowl. No.
Right. Right. It's absolutely busy. There are times when the parks will close, mostly Magic Kingdom, will close due to capacity. You're not going to be able to ride a lot. The lines are going to be really long. So, and if I can continue on with this, I mean, he proves to be a great example time and time again. He just did a cruise for the first time on Royal Caribbean, and did not tell me about it until after they got back. And he's like, "Oh, well, we had a good time, but we wanted to do the flow rider, but we didn't want to pay for it." And I'm like, "Yeah, you don't have to pay for it. You just when it's open, you just go and you do it."
You do.
He's like, "No, no, you have to pay for it." I'm like, "No, if you want private lessons with just you and an instructor, yes, but it's open, to the public of the ship." So, it's things like that where reach out. I mean, we have the knowledge, we know what we're talking about, especially when it comes to Disney. Again, authorized Disney vacation planner. Um, and here's the other thing, right? Like, if you're talking to Ryan and you want to completely eliminate just the kind of hustle and bustle of the parks entirely, but you still want to ride the attractions, there are options out there for you. You could do a VIP tour and completely skip all of that stuff. So um, it's certainly it's certainly a wealth of knowledge here that you could be using, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I tell going back to our new agents, I like to use the movie Aladdin as an analogy of a travel planner because in the movie Aladdin, Genie has all these great and cosmic powers and he can do literally whatever he wants in the world.
right,
But unfortunately, the movie's not called Genie. The movie's called Aladdin because Aladdin is the main character. And if Aladdin wants to make a stupid wish, he can make a stupid wish. And I tell them that if my client wants to go eat at Pizza Rizzo, I will allow them to go eat at Pizza Rizzo, even though
right,
I do not agree with it. Or
right,
if they want to spend money on something that I believe is foolish, I will set them up and allow them to do that because that's what brings them joy and that's what brings them
right,
happiness and that's my job is to be your genie and make sure that your wishes are able to come true.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. Absolutely. So very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're at the hour mark, so
Are we? Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we are. I haven't even like checked. I hadn't even looked. That's pretty cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, that is boy, I haven't done this in forever, so uh, bear with me. But yeah. I don't know, Ryan. I don't even know what to say. I'm lost for words.
uh yeah, we can wrap. Do you know who's coming on next?
I don't know yet. No, I don't. I'm still working out a schedule with our agents, so we've gotten a really great response. I think more people might be interested to do this, that it's not going live
Yeah.
right to YouTube. It's, we can kind of sit down and talk about it and record. And if they want me to cut something out, we can certainly do that and cut something out. But yeah, we've got some really great things. We've got somebody who wants to talk about potentially having a wedding on Disney Cruise Line, which is really cool. And that's something that I could definitely talk about. Not that I've had a wedding, but we have photographed a wedding on a cruise, which was really cool. I said about the Olympics. Um, I think there was somebody else who wants to talk about Run Disney, which is huge. The community is just enormous when it comes to Run Disney and all the races. I mean, we touched on that briefly. And then, man, I don't know. There's a few other things. So definitely a lot of Disney stuff, but that's okay. I mean, that's what, like I said, we do a lot of Disney stuff. Disney's great. We're always going to go back to Disney. So yeah, and I think even in that, there will probably be some things that you out there that's listening may not know about or find value in. Or you could, let somebody else know, right? If they're, somebody who's getting married and wants to do a Disney wedding, but maybe doesn't really want to pay the price tag for in the parks, you could have a much more relaxing and, in my opinion, a lot more enjoyable wedding on a Disney cruise line for like sometimes like a quarter of the cost. It's like ridiculous, but yeah, so cool. Well, thanks for coming on and being
Yeah.
the first. I think I titled this as episode 1, just kind of revamping and starting over, kind of going fresh here as we begin, kind of a new chapter with the travel podcast and how things go. So, but
Happy to be here.
awesome, man. Well,
Always
thank you
happy to
again.
talk.
Yeah, thank you. This one I owe you. This one will certainly get posted, because it's the first one, so I owe you that at the very least. And thank you everybody who has sat here and listened to us chat. If you've got something that you'd like to add, please, you can send or leave a comment or something like that, or send us an email. And also, if you're interested in booking a vacation, you can send an email to info@goldgellgetaways.com, or you can, if you're looking to do a Disney vacation, you want to use Ryan here, you can send Ryan an email.
The Levines at goldgellgetaways.com.
Excellent. And we'll throw all of that stuff up into the show notes as well, so that you don't have to try and, um, listen to how I say it, because a lot of times when I say things, it's like a weird central PA slur draw sometimes. I don't know, it's weird. I can't really speak straight. But anyways, thanks for listening, everybody, and you'll hear us in the next one.
Yeah. See you soon.